Hello, my name is Knudsen. I'm the owner of K-Tech Home Inspections and Engineering. It's K-Tech for Knudsen Technologies, as I'm licensed in both home inspections and civil engineering in the state of Arizona. I'm going to take you on a tour today of a home inspection, an actual home inspection. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing it because it'll be about an hour and a half video if I do that. So I'm going to take you on kind of an abbreviated inspection. I'll show you the highlights of what we look for in an inspection. So that said, let's be on our way. We check floor type, and this is tile in the hallway, and it's got some cracked grout. It's not major, but there is some cracking going on. The bedrooms are all carpeted, so that's another flooring finish that we check and note. The first thing we do is walk through the entire house and take reference photos. Now, I'm not going to take you through this entire house, but I'll take you through part of it, again for the interest of keeping this short. We take photos and video of the hallways and the bathrooms and the rooms, all of the rooms in the house. This is one of the bedrooms. And this is the master bathroom. We inspect the outside of the house too, and in this particular case I'll show you some of the things that I have found. In this one we have evidence of termite treatment. There's some obvious damage between the entry ceiling and the stucco wall. It's basically a crack, needs caulk. There's a security screen door on the front, and it has some screen damage, as you can see right here. The stucco has some minor damage. These are screw holes right here. There are a couple of issues here. You can see the peeling paint on the foundation perimeter. But as I pan to the left, this is the water supply into the house, and we note the type of pipe and the size. But you note this one also has a pressure regulator on it that's rusty, and the piping itself is corroded, the copper part, and it doesn't have an anti-siphon valve on the spigot. We always check the garage too, and although we like vacant houses, we normally, and a lot of times, find a house that has things in it that limit the inspection. This one does. We note the kind of venting that we have on the roof, and this has louvered gable vents as well as freeze vents. This wood eave has some evidence of water staining, as you can tell, and some wood rot. We note the fall of the land and where the water meter is and where the sewer cleanouts are, and we note the condition of the driveway and the sidewalks. We always check the electrical panel. We remove the blank panel cover so that we can actually see the wiring and the grounding and the service. We check the condition of the outside of the house on the wall and the exterior, and you can see in this case we've got some typical stucco cracking. We also show peeling paint, usually from moisture, and you can see a vertical crack in the foundation perimeter there. You can also see termite treatment evidence as well.
We look for evidence of erosion, and you can see that we have some here. We check patio covers for type, and the patio slab also for type, and the exterior doors. Again, this is a sliding door from the dinette. We check screens, and you see that screen right here. It's actually got some damage on it right there at the corner. Because we don't like water underneath our concrete or next to the foundation, there should be some kind of a sealant strip between the concrete sidewalk and the foundation perimeter. There is none here. When we inspect the roof, we try to walk the roof when we have an opportunity to do so. This one is a concrete tile roof, and it also has a patio cover that has a rolled composition type of roofing material on it. We check both. We also check the eaves while we're up here. This patio roofing has some buckling on it, as you can see by, if I can move it with my foot. And you can see up here on the eaves where the paint has deteriorated. There's a lifted edge on this roofing material here, and probably the cause of the staining that's underneath. While on the roof, we look for the kinds of vents that we have, whether they're galvanized or not, and ABS plumbing vents usually. We also look for cracked, broken, missing, dislocated tiles. And I have one here that's a cracked tile. I'll show it to you. It's right here. We look at the mortar pack at the ends of the tiles, and then we also look at the flashing on the venting. This roof has some regular asphalt shingles on it in the area of the air conditioning unit, so we'll be checking that out too, as we will with the HVAC unit. This is the unit. It's a heat pump. So it's run by electricity, but we also check flashing again. You'll notice here that on this flashing we have what we call exposed fasteners. That's where there's no caulk over the fasteners, and it can provide an avenue for water into the roof. There's another broken roof tile loaded here. The last place we look, or could be the first, is also the attic. We look at the type of insulation. In this case, we've got blown-in cellulose. And we look at the framing, whether it's truss or conventional. We look at the wiring where we can. And we look for water staining on any of the structure. On the interior of the house, we check all of the kitchen appliances. We check the sink and the faucet, and we also look under the cabinets to see if we've got any water stains. You can see in this particular cabinet we do have some kind of a water stain or some kind of a liquid. We don't know what the prior owner had in the cabinet. We check all the windows for operation, as well as whether or not they're dual pane, and then if they're dual pane, we check real closely to see if the seal has been violated. In this particular case, it has been, and so we've got some cloudiness going on between the two panes. We check lights, light switches. We check outlets, and in this particular case you can see that we have a broken outlet, and we note that. We also look at window screens, and there's some damage on this one. As you can see, the outside edge is separated. We check the smoke alarms, make sure they're operative, and also the thermostats together with the HVAC units, and there's the thermostat here in this house. And checking windows, you can see the latch on this window is broken off, and so the owner put on these screw-on type latches that you can buy at the hardware store. We check ceiling fans to see if they're operating properly and if they're positioned correctly. We check heating and air conditioning vents, see that each room is venting properly and the air is circulating. We also check ceilings and walls, and you see we've got a little ceiling damage here. We also check the exhaust fans in the bathrooms and the laundry, if they have one. In the garage, we check the floors and the walls and the ceiling again, and in this case we find the water heater in the garage, and we look at the water heater to see if it's installed properly. In this case, it was manufactured in 2006. It's fairly recent. But if you look at the base, you can see why it's 2006. Because the base has some water staining damage and possibly some mechanical damage from somebody running into it. The garage door is checked for proper operation. We check the sensor to see if it bounces back when the sensor beam is broken. We also test it to see if it bounces back when it hits an object. We also check to see how noisy it is, if it is at all. We check all the doors and the door hardware. We want to make sure that they work. We check to see if there's a door stop. And we check the closets, and if they have a door, we also check those the same way we do for any door in any room. We also check shelving and any light fixtures that are in the closet. We check the laundry and where it is and how it is and if it's working okay. In this case, we've got the laundry in a hall closet. We check the water supply and the venting and the electrical supply, and if it's gas, we also check for the gas and see if it's connected properly. The last thing I'll record is the exterior wall. You can see some stair-step cracking in the mortar joints, and if you pan over here to the left, you can actually see where the mortar joints were packed again with mortar because of damage probably created by that tree that's on the other side of the wall. Well, I've taken you on a short tour. I hope you had an education. I apologize for the broken verbiage that I've used here, but I hope that we were clear and concise enough that you get a feeling for what we do in a home inspection. Thanks.